Hi y'all, Ariel Jade here, independent Americana artist, singer-songwriter, living, working, and recording in Nashville, Tennessee. I've been here just over a year now, and I have learned a lot. I've gotten to see a lot of what's behind the smoke and mirrors. And this video is very specifically about my decision to boycott Spotify. There's a lot of controversy around this. We're not going to get political about it either. We're just going to look at the facts. I just wanted to present to you guys in a little bit more detail what's going on and why I am choosing to boycott Spotify, removing all of my catalog off of Spotify and deleting my personal account and the app as well. Okay, so first there's the whole thing surrounding AI and the training models and all of this. Now Spotify has, I did go really dig into this. They have stated that they are working on putting protections in place for artist training systems, which shows that they're paying attention, and that does make me feel better about AI training and protections for artists and creatives. Hopefully, we have hope. Now, what I don't like, and I dug into it more, they decided that if an artist track does not hit over 1,000 plays, and yes, I know, it's pennies. But those pennies, when you add it up, let me pull up the stat. Just in 2023, approximately 158.6 million tracks failed to reach Spotify's 1,000 stream threshold, meaning that the artists behind them did not receive their royalties for those tracks. Spotify kept them instead. This number represents about 86.2% of all the tracks on the platform. That shows me that 86% of the artists releasing music on Spotify are independent, are trying to break out, are trying to share their art without the backing and pushing of one of the big five, a major label. That money just gets held by Spotify. When you're looking at that many tracks, it does add up. And instead of it being paid out to the artists and the creators and the owners of the IP, the only reason that art exists anyway for this revenue to be generated, it's not going to the artists. Like, 1,000 tracks, if you're not breaking 1,000 tracks, then, it doesn't matter to you. It does, long term, as well as just in terms of motivation to artists. I know when I got my first royalty check, even though it was like $5, I was just like, it's beginning. It's beginning. And with almost 50,000 streams since releasing music last year, I've still only made $150 across all streaming platforms, not for sales, but for streaming royalties. Every little bit in terms of motivation and ethical compensation is important to artists. But it gets worse. If you're sitting there thinking 1,000 streams, if you can't break 1,000 streams, what does it matter? You got no hope. That I don't like that. But I have heard that as an argument. You got to start somewhere first off. Second off, it's not just being capped at 1,000 streams. From what I've heard on the road from people working within labels very closely with Spotify, that number is going up to 100,000 streams per track within a calendar year very soon. 100,000 streams before they're going to pay you out. It basically affects every single artist not being pushed and promoted by the big five major labels. Sony, UMG, you get what I'm saying? So Spotify is no longer an artist-friendly platform in my eyes after all of this research. Spotify is a label-friendly platform. So even though they may be taking strides for protections in AI, there is nothing showing me that the ethics and moral compass in terms of fairness to artists and creatives is going to continue to extend beyond those that are signed by major labels. And yeah, 100,000 streams, get a few $100. And if that minimum 1,000 stream threshold just in 2023 blocked over, only in this year, blocked over 158.6 million tracks from getting royalties. Now, multiply that. 100,000 plays is the minimum threshold to get a payout, to receive royalties from your art as an artist. That is what's around the corner. I can't stand by that. I can't stand behind that. I also am working with a music aggregator and have found out that Amazon Music looked really good there for a while in terms of artist payout fairness. But they have apparently adopted the threshold system that Spotify has. So we'll also not be providing my music to Amazon Music. Bezos doesn't need my money anyway. Okay, let's look at the AI trading. And the reason that paying attention to this is important for artists. Why do we have to worry about it? AI is a tool. AI, people are going to use it. It's going to grow. You can't stop it. Blah, blah, blah. All of those thoughts and arguments. Okay? These labels are creating AI artists, signing AI-only artists, distributing and putting the allocated revenue behind AI-created tracks. 100% AI-created tracks. Not the producer used AI to create this instrument playing this melody that he plugged in or she plugged in, okay? That is not what I mean. That is a tool. Full-on AI-created music. There are artists being signed to artists. Laughable. There are AI artists being signed multi-million-dollar deals. And it's not just one or two. There have been a few instances, America, UK, quite a few places at this point, where labels that actually have big backing and have the proper back end to distribute the music to these DSPs, digital service providers, Spotify, iTunes, Apple, Amazon Music, etc. You get it. They are using those resources, those allocated resources, to pitch, promote, and place AI music in the forefront instead of human artists. True music, real music for real people. This machine, I will not be a cog in. I will not support it in terms of an artist providing my catalog to this platform unless something drastically changes with the way that they're going. And I also will personally not be using it as well. There's so many other alternatives out there. As I go find the resources, we'll drop them in comments below, okay? But there are some new apps that have same catalogs because most artists are releasing like through TuneCore or CD Baby or DistroKid or whatever, their digital aggregator. That's a website. And we have a store automation option where we hit release to all stores, and a lot of artists are doing that. And I will still be doing that, except I will be removing my catalog from Spotify and Amazon. I will drop it down here though. There is a new music app that you can even port all of your likes, your artists, your playlist, everything from Spotify to this app. I will find it and put it down here. But just the mere breakdown of real music and jobs, true, real careers for artists, for studio musicians, for producers, for performers, for tour managers, for stagehands, for lighting, for if we help push this snowball down the mountain, it will eventually become an avalanche and everybody at the bottom will be buried. You know who's at the bottom? Artists not signed by the big five. I don't want to help push that snowball. Okay, so got my handy dandy phone, did some research, and I just wanted to discuss this platform by platform comparison with you guys too. Amazon Music is reported to have a higher payout, with one of the estimates suggesting it paid the most for songwriting and publishing royalties in 2025. But again, they have adopted this threshold clause within their TOS, just like Spotify has. So Apple Music is generally considered to pay higher per stream rate than Spotify due to its subscription-only model. This is my favorite. Spotify has the lowest average per stream rate of major platforms due to its free ad-supported tier, which generates less revenue per stream than premium subscriptions. So, but however, Spotify still pays out the largest total of money to the music industry globally. Yeah, to the top 5, to the big 5, to those artists. Anyway, Tidal has a higher per stream payout than Spotify, as it generates 100% of its revenue from paid subscribers. Also, Tidal is paying artists $100 a day if their song gets playlisted on a Tidal playlist. Yes, you heard me right. The artist gets paid $100 a day. No, you poor indie artist souls. You know how they told us, give us your money, we'll playlist you on Spotify. All of that. Yeah. Don't, no. Go somewhere else. And then YouTube. Guys, YouTube is Google. They've been around forever, gonna be around forever. Payouts can vary significantly, but for songwriting and publishing, it was reported to pay approximately $1,400 for 1 million streams in 2025. And that's songwriting and publishing. Okay? You're paying out based on the streams and everything. YouTube has very interesting systems for that because you have the partner program. There's a lot to that. That's a whole different video. People have made those videos. Go find them on YouTube. But that metric does not include master sound recording royalties at all. Okay, so that is just the songwriting and publishing royalties. Okay, so I made my original post, and I think this was one of my my favorite things. I felt like I made it fairly clear that this was more of an ethical and moral stand for the preservation of real art and promotion of real music, not AI drivel, not theft and exploitation. Someone says to me, I get your point. I think it's a bad idea for a variety of reasons. When you're growing, Spotify isn't about the pennies made from payouts, but rather the discovery and legitimacy. Promoters, fans, and other musicians check Spotify first. If you're not there, you look inactive. And 99.98% of people, where did that metric come from? Matt won't chase you to Bandcamp, and they'll just move on. You gain leverage before you boycott. Use Spotify to get discovered and then monetize through shows. Leaving the platform doesn't hurt Spotify. It just makes growing artists invisible. Okay. So I say back to him, fair points, but I'm taking an ethical stance against the rake that is the current payout system, as well as the vague rhetorics regarding AI within TOS and panel discussions for Spotify. Okay? And I said if I'm going to have to bring my audience from social media, if I'm going to have to create content anyway to bring them over somewhere to listen to my music, because Spotify, unless you pay for it, really does not just promote on a whim independent artists. You go look at those discovery chart rates, most of the time those are paid placements. And most of the editorial playlisting and spotlights, that comes from paid access through a premium subscription system to be able to even pitch these things. It still is going to cost you money. Way more money than you're making on royalties. And if I'm going to have to bring my own audience over, I would rather bring them to more artist-friendly platforms. All of my stuff will be available everywhere except Spotify and Amazon Music, since Amazon has apparently adapted this minimum stream threshold payout. And honestly, for me, just to sum it up, my peace and my integrity as an artist and what my art contributes to is more important to me than a playlist spot. I know this is going to be very inconvenient for a lot of people because it's some wild metric like 80% of listeners use Spotify. That's also the reason I'm taking the time to make this video, because I'm not just walking away from you guys. I'm not trying to make it inconvenient. I am taking a stand, and I want you to understand exactly why. And if you are another artist, independent artist, and you have the choice, I just urge you to look into it and decide if it is what's best for your brand. If you're happy paying for the playlisting, here's the thing. The money that you're putting into the Spotify playlist, contributing to what you're contributing to, you could just take that same exact money release your music, iTunes, everywhere else. And then Google SEO, Google ads. Focus on that. Put your ad budget, your marketing budget into that, in social media. Don't put it into a placement for Spotify, because the thing is, I can tell you, with one of my recent releases, we got the editorial playlist, we got this, we got that. You know how many new followers I got off of 10,000 streams? 50. 50. You know how many new followers I got off for releasing content on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube? 500 plus. Same song. It's just food for thought. I will never judge anyone for leaving their music where they think is going to benefit them. I just know that I can't stand by what they're doing to artists. I can't stand by and support this shift in the industry that's happening on these major platforms, working with these major labels and really only caring about these major labels. And I don't want to just be a cog in this machine. I don't want to push that snowball down the mountain and cause an avalanche. I personally just don't want to be a part of the downfall of true art. The price of eggs is high enough as it is. We already are starving artists. We're not picked up by major labels or have huge seed funds as independents. I would like to see a fair playing field for artists releasing their music on these major platforms, knowing that they have the reach, they have the power, and they have the ability. If what the majors have is better than what we have as independents, why not just put us on a level playing field and see how it goes? You want to know why they don't? Because Spotify pays millions of dollars a year to each of these big five just to get their artist catalogs on their platforms. At that point, these artists with major labels become assets to the DSP. This seems like a conflict of interest to me, personally speaking. Because now the artists on those 5 major platforms that are being playlisted and shared on Spotify, they have money to make back off of those artists to justify their marketing investment in the first place, their catalog investment. And then, because of that, they still, after they pay that back to the major label, still pull their nice little share of royalties. Though the major labels do keep about 20% more than what independents do. It's all very interesting to me. Okay, well, if you made it through the whole video, good on you. I hope this helps. I'll drop some links, resources below in the comments. I hope this helped someone. At least understand my perspective, if not help you understand the boycott in general and overall without political rhetoric. You're welcome. Because there is more to this story, but I'm going to leave that to you to go dive into. The CEO of Spotify stepped down recently. Wonder why. Thanks for coming to my Jade Talk. Okay, bye.